No. No! You can't do this to us! Why have you forsaken us?
Mid. This game is mid. And mid, in this context, becomes even worse after you've just played a game as good as Generations, and then you move straight on to Forces afterwards. But hey, you gotta listen to your audience to succeed. Why the hell did Steam decide to do a 75% off deal on this game around the time this comment was posted? Meaning my excuse of not doing this video because I didn't want to pay full price for the game was thrown out the window.
Coincidence? I think
Alright, so we're gonna continue the trend I did with Generations, covering the classic and moderns in 2 different videos, and maybe the Avatar stages too, if I haven't lost my mind from complete
midness at that point.
But first, a little bit of context for anyone who hasn't seen the counting 1500 videos on YouTube talking about why this game is so mid to begin with. Here's your context. What do you mean there was only 3 level designers on this game?
that just makes no sense. I mean, it's just bullshit.
Whatever, let's just get on with this. This is not a Sonic stage. I'm sorry, it is not. This is literally a casino simulator with a mascot cheering on the sidelines, and that mascot just happens to be the only damn enemy on the stage. Wait, you think I'm joking? No, I'm being serious. Sure though, other obstacles to avoid, but in terms of straight up enemies, you mean to tell me that in a game that just sends out lines of static enemies to completely rush through in every stage, only has the one single bot in this one? My god, this is pathetic. Guys, the context is right there. What the hell were they thinking? I wasn't kidding, by the way. This is a casino simulator. And do you know what did this better?
Every other casino-based stage in Sonic history.
This stage has no concept of life in it. It is so empty. And that's the last thing you should be thinking about in a Sonic game. Just a completely barren attempt to bring back nostalgia with a classic Sonic gimmick. And considering there's only 6 classic stages in this game, you should at least try your best to make these as good as possible. I mean, I can't blame these guys, they did their best. Having 3 level designers working on a Sonic game is bloody criminal. And you can definitely tell that there were only 3 designers as we continue through the list. Number 5, Iron Fortress. No, listen, I know I just defended these guys, but one of you got to pay the price here. Who the hell decided to put a side-scrolling section in the middle of the stage? I just want to have a talk. Just know my friend William Regal will be there for these discussions.
Arriba's got the brass nuts, King!
Now look, I'm sure part of this is a skill issue on my end, but on the other, I can't help but think that this was put in because they really had no idea how to further progress with the stage. Because without this part, all it really is running on these stupid wheels and avoiding these stupidly precise barrel rolling missiles.
Do a barrel roll!
You know why Generations classic stages had none of these sections? Because they actually had a strong design team to create top-notch stages, Planet Whisper side of course. So they didn't have to rely on adding time to a stage by adding a stupid side-scrolling section. This is classic Sonic's last stage in this game too. And before people say things like,
Well, there you go, it's the final stage, they just wanted to add some further difficulty.
no, this isn't that at all. You'll understand that after playing the first 27 stages that come before this one, because practically all of them have barely half the creativity that the Generation stages had. Number 4, the Death Egg. Okay, fine, we're in space. We've just taken down the defenses of the station. It makes sense for anti-gravity sections to be in this. It doesn't mean you have to have them. Anti-grav stages are well known for being some of the most unfun parts of any game. Now, credit to Mario Kart 8 for changing that factor, but did we really need this gameplay here? Then combine that with even more time wasting. They had no idea what to do after the anti-grav, so let's just stick 10-second intervals in between. These transporters are the perfect example of just how screwed this game is on a level design perspective. You had our hopes so high, Sega, and then you give us this?
How long is this going to take?
Now this sounds even more negative than Iron Fortress, so why is it higher? Well, I raged at Death Egg. I just shrugged Iron Fortress off. By the time I got to Classic Sonic's final stage, I just didn't care anymore. At least with the Death Egg, I still had some emotion left in me. Number 3, Chemical Plant. Don't get it twisted, this is not a good stage. It's just like the rest of the game.
Mid.
Now look, even though it's more tolerable than the other 3 stages, and hell, I actually had a bit of fun with this one, the glaring factor is they did it 10 times better 6 years ago. A stage that ranked number 6 in this video is still 10 times better than the Forces version at number 3? That speaks volumes. There is good things in this stage. The platforming was decent compared to most of the other classic stages. The underwater wasn't terrible, and I think I made it pretty clear in my past videos that I'm not a fan of underwater levels in Sonic, so yeah. The 2 bits are cool, but then I'd just be a hypocrite saying that, because they serve the same purpose as the transporters in the Death Egg. And even though I had the slightest bit of fun here, as I just said, it doesn't mean it's because the stage is good. If anything, it's probably just because there's no terrible crap to deal with, like in the Death Egg and Dying Fortress. Look, I know it sounds like I'm being really negative here, and I am, but I swear, things will get better when I move on to the modern stages. I mean, it's agreed by most people that the classic stages are actually the worst part of this game, so we're just starting from the bottom. Let's just go ahead and get these last 2 stages out of the way. Like, literally, I can't decide between the 2 of these stages. They're both just as mid as each other. I guess if we're going on the logic of the last placement, Ghost Town would have to take the top spot, because like Chemical Plant, Green Hill had just been done 10 times better 6 years prior. Do you know what sucks? We're at number 1 and 2 on the list. The best of the best. I've hardly got anything good to say. I mean, there's some nice loop-de-loops, I guess. The platforming isn't terrible, I guess. So hey, how about that Frontiers DLC?